Hey there, this is Jen. And I just wanted to hop in here to share a little bit about what it means to be embodied, right? When we talk about, let's say, divine masculine or divine feminine, right? These are very spiritual concepts, right? And they're really frameworks or, again, concepts for understanding what it means to be feminine, what it means to be masculine, um, and we each have these within us. And even if we identify as non-binary, trans, we still hold these expressions or these energies within us, right? Doesn't matter what the body looks like. It's how we are expressing, right? How we are expressing ourself, or how we are expressing an energy. And to be embodied means to take that concept, right? That framework, let's say, and bring it into the body and be in that expression and practice that, right? Bring it into practice, right? You're embodied within it. You are, it's no longer this intellectual understanding, right? It's an embodied understanding of what it means to be XYZ. And today we're going to focus on embodied femininity, right? So let's connect to a little bit about, and again, this is to kind of remove ourselves from societal constructs, but what is the feminine energy? What is that feminine presence, right? How does it show up? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Right? And we can think of the mother, right? The mother energy, that nurturing, compassionate, all loving, supportive aspect of the divine, right? Aspect of humanity. And we can cultivate it, right? And tend to it and embody it and be within it through various ways and practices and that. So, like for me personally, ways to get in touch with my feminine energy and ways to help me to feel balanced and to express that energy and to express that, or to embody that expression and be within that expression, as a being, a feminine being, means some of my favorite practices are connecting with other women, right? Connecting to that mothering side of myself, that nurturing side of myself, right? Being present with my kids and holding space and listening and, just being in that connection, right? I'm not doing anything present, I'm connecting. And then I'm holding that compassion and that nurturing energy right within that. Unfortunately, right, within our current world that we live in, within society, the feminine is not really honored. It is not valued as high as, let's say, some masculine attributes would be. And we'll get into that in the next video, right? So these qualities, these values, I guess you could say on some level, are these aspects, right? They are, unfortunately, not recognized to be as valuable, and so therefore It's often hidden. We may not focus on these aspects of ourself as much, and we might polarize a little bit. And again, doesn't matter the body, right? It might polarize a little bit more into the masculine orientation or the direction focused, the action, right? The doing, right? So within a relationship, let's say, it might look like, a feminine, somebody who's holding the feminine, right? It can be a man or a woman or whatever it may, however that person may identify, right? But they are the one focused on holding, right, this, or in that moment, they are holding more of a feminine, right, presence, holding space, listening, right, nurturing, supporting. Whereas if a masculine were to step into that space, they might have ideas, right? Or let's try this, solution oriented, right? Rather than focusing on the expression, right, of what's happening or the feelings or the venting, right? The understanding, right? The masculine is very logical, rational. What's going on? How can we fix it, right? How can we move forward? Right. They also may come in and say, okay, here's step 1, step 2, steps 3, step 4. Let's map it out. Let's do it. Right. And then taking those steps. Right. And that would be the embodied, right, masculine, which we'll talk more about. The feminine flows. Right. The feminine is in this cyclical pattern. I love to tune into the moon cycles, right? That helps me to connect into my feminine energy. It also helps me to connect into my masculine energy because I always intend to balance that with my masculine, right? So you cannot create with just feminine. You need that masculine energy as well in order to manifest the thing out there in the world, right? You need the energy, the presence, right? And then those action steps. The void, the womb space, right? And then you have the masculine who supports that as well. So like I love doing moon circles and connecting into what do I want to create and manifest in my life, and what are the current moon cycles, what is the moon energies telling me based on where it's at, and how can I align myself within that, connect to my feminine energy, that creative, that womb space, that creation, that space of creation, and then feel into the energy, feel into that space, and then what action steps can I do in order to, right, bring it into the physical, right? Feminine can be embodied as well, right? Again, what I talked about. And this is a way to be in my embodied feminine energy through these practices that are very feminine in nature, right? Cyclical, circle oriented, connection, right, based. And so I love circles. Like circles are the coolest things ever because everybody comes as they are, and we're all equal, and we all deserve equal space, and we are meant to hold equal space, right, in this circle. That's another one of my favorite practices. I had mentioned dance, like doing more like ecstatic type dancing, if you want to call that, or temple body dancing, just kind of moving intuitively, right? So I'm not going in it with a plan. I'm not going into it with an attachment to any type of outcome or what will be, right? The idea is that I am showing up, right? and allowing that energy to flow through me, to move through me, to move me intuitively, divinely, and expressing right through me. And journaling is a great feminine practice, right? Tuning in within yourself, right? Feeling into that inner space, reflecting, holding that presence, right? Slowing down. That allows me to embody into my feminine, right? And be embodied in my feminine. Other practices that I hold are holding space. I love to hold space with people. And holding space essentially means you show up with an open heart, with an open mind, and you hold your presence in that space. You're not trying to fix anything, and it's a skill that you learn, right? It's not something that can be easy for many people. Some people just might be natural in it, but for many it may not be easy. And a key aspect of that is learning how to be with yourself. And if you can learn how to be with yourself, you can learn how to be with another, right? Within communion, within harmony. So first you must learn how to be with yourself, and then you can be with another, with others, and you can hold that space with them, right? You're connected into yourself, into your body. You're not losing yourself within that experience. That is primary, right? Being firmly rooted in whatever that presence, that may be needed. So for me as a doula, I hold space all the time, right? I show up to see a client and I'm there to listen and I'm there to be with them. I can provide, of course, I have tons of, knowledge and understanding, but that's not like, it can be my primary reason there, but when I'm fully embodied in my feminine presence, I am simply present and being within that moment. I'm not coming in with some kind of agenda or way things ought to be or how they ought to go, with some kind of strategy. I am simply allowing. I am holding this container and I'm allowing things to unfold, and my presence is there, right? I'm not out somewhere else thinking about, not that we all dissociate, we all kind of space out, right? That happens at times. But to be present, you must be fully in that moment, embodied, connected to your body, connected to the space that you are within, and connecting to the others that are in that space, right? And that is the feminine space holder. She can hold a space. I can hold space with men. I can hold space with the masculine, right? 100%. I also know how to be in my masculine. I know how to create a plan, and I know how to execute a strategy and to rationally think rather and not be in my feelings, right? So that's kind of how we can look at, right, feminine and masculine. Again, one's not better than the other, right? We're all just unique in our own way, and we have these aspects within ourselves that we can practice with and embody, so that, right, it's not just about the conceptual understanding. It's actually like, how do you be within it, right? Not here, but in the body. It's not thought. It's not a thought process, right? Intuition is not a thought process. Intuition is a feeling within the body. So how can you connect into that space, into your feminine intuition? You could say into your spirituality. Many people are disconnected from their intuition, or they want to hone it, or they want to learn how to use it because they're disconnected from their body. So the first thing to do in order to connect to the feminine is to connect to the body. Again, you don't have to necessarily, I mean, this is true for the masculine too, but it doesn't matter the body, right? It's, or the sex, right? Because we have intersex people, right? We have all these different types of people and bodies and identities, right? So that just is, right? We live in a diverse universe and world and people and humanity. So, so yeah, connecting into the body, right? And how you show up and how you use your body in various ways and hold a space. And I invite you to kind of like reflect on, like, when am I more in my masculine energy? When am I more in my feminine energy? How can I balance these two things out? Because if you are in one extreme and not the next, right, you're not, you're imbalanced. You are, um, likely toxic. And some people are more comfortable in one or the other, right? So how do you sometimes, leave your comfort level and try something different? How do you shift between the two? How do you bring them into union in order for them to work together harmoniously, right? To take right action for that which is that you want to create, right? As above, so below. So it is. So that is sharing a little bit about embodied femininity, some practices that I keep, how to kind of connect to that within yourself. Take a moment to reflect upon, how do I connect more into my feminine, right? How do I connect more into my masculine? How do I embody my femininity? How do I embody my masculinity, my action orientation? Somebody I follow had said something about embodied masculinity is simply the direction in which energy goes. It is simply the direction in which energy goes. So, what is the action in relation to that which has been conceived or created in the mind, right? Created in the heart. So, I hope that helps a bit. We'll talk more about embodied masculinity in the next video. Until next time, toodaloo.